So, and I think you'd said previously when you were working on CSU that when talking to a lot of these authorities, and the SWAT teams and whatever else, that a lot of them had run zombie simulations.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it, you know.
Yeah, that really cracked me up. I talked to some guys at Homeland and some guys in SWAT, a couple different areas of SWAT, and I asked them. I said, well, you know, I want to get your opinion on how you guys might deal with it. Let me tell you about what zombies are. And they're like, tell me about zombies. And you're talking fast zombies, slow zombies. You're talking about rage zombies. You're talking about risen dead. You're talking about, and they're firing this back at me, and they're saying, well, you know, of course we do this, this, and this, and then they're deconstructing the movies. As much as I mean, they all have seen these films. It's funny. Almost everyone who has a profession and who sees a film in which their profession could possibly, you know, overlap, they actually do the thought. So when you ask them the questions, they've already thought about it. And the SWAT guys were a riot because they ran fast and slow zombie scenarios. They ran zombies coming down the street, you know, and barrack, you know, how to hold the line. They ran scenarios for retaking the streets from zombies. And if you really want to get them started, talk about 28 weeks later. Because I mean, you can actually see veins just pulse in their head. Because whoever, if they had a military advisor for that film, he was on crack. Everything was wrong. I mean, first off, you have zombies. You have zombie-ish. You have a guy in a helicopter.
Yeah.
It's an army helicopter, and he uses the blades.
Yeah.
The thing that would probably destroy the helicopter. They got these things they invented a long time ago called miniguns. You'd park there 10 feet above the zombies. Zombies aren't going to do high jumps in the ground. The miniguns will tear them apart. You can outrun parts. But we also have Abrams tanks. These things, I mean, they had to rebuild all the roads in Germany after World War II to accommodate the size of the tanks we were building. These things could just drive up and down the streets. You know, you have zombie pate everywhere. It no longer becomes an army problem, it becomes a sanitation department problem. So these guys had already thought about this. So when I'm asking them questions, I didn't have to feed them any information. They're giving me stuff. They're talking about, you know, they also love deconstructing the ease with which heroes in zombie movies get headshots with handguns.
That's hard.
Yeah, yeah. The guy, and my favorite zombie film is Dawn of the Dead, the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I think it's the best zombie film ever made, the director's cut. Don't throw things at me if you disagree, but we can take it outside later on. But as much as I love the character that Jake Weber plays, you know, he sells TVs at Best Buy, and suddenly he's popping zombies at 20 yards and 30 yards. Shush! With a handgun. And I'm thinking, yeah, go on the range and do that while you're calm and see if you can do anything. Then try it really when you're nervous. Not so much. But the Homeland guys, they had run scenarios on fast and slow zombies too. They'd also run Godzilla scenarios. They'd run alien invasion scenarios. Now, and tax dollars at work. The reason they do this, they have these groups that come from all over the world. They're counter-terrorist groups from all over the world. And they do these weekend or week-long retreats where they run every possible scenario. The idea is so that no matter what happens, they have something, you know, prepared. It's a shame FEMA doesn't do this. But so they had, you know, and sometimes they have to entertain themselves because there's only so many times you can run a scenario of hostile situation, guy would, you know, strap on bomb. So they actually ran the zombie stuff. So when I was asking them, they had answers prepared. It was an incredibly surreal experience to have a guy from Homeland or a guy from who was a top SWAT trainer say, "Oh yeah, you know, the way we would cap the zombie is this," and that, you know, one group's calling them Zeds, Zoms, UAs. I love UAs, Undead Americans. the SWAT guy from Dallas called them UAs. But yeah, they were already prepared for me. I loved it.
I know some people at the CDC, and I understand that they've thought about it there as well, about fast and slow zombies. So you're talking to all of these SWAT guys. Was there a particular, and getting into Patient Zero, let me just say, show of hands, how many people have read Patient Zero with our friend Joe Ledger? Okay. Did you want to, for those who have not, would you want to give like a quick 50 words or less setup?
Patient Zero deals with It introduces Joe Ledger, a Baltimore cop who's recruited by a secret government organization called the Department of Military Sciences, the DMS, to help stop a group of terrorists who have a plague that will turn people into zombies. It's as close to real science as you can get, because I did a lot of research on which diseases could possibly be constructed or modified. Joe Ledger's character is kind of a hero waiting to happen. You know, he's airborne ranger. He's got a martial arts background. He's a completely fractured person, but that gives him a certain degree of edge. So he's the right guy for the job, but he's never had an opportunity to be a hero before, and this just kind of falls in his lap, and he winds up being the right guy for this job. And he's an amalgam of a couple of people a couple of real-world people, and he's a fun character. Patience here is the first of at least 3 novels. I'm writing the 3rd one now.
So, and that was going to be my next question about the origin of Joe Ledger. So were all of those people that you had met during the course of putting together CSU, or?
Well, actually, there's a little bit of me and Joe. Some of his childhood stuff is the same as mine. We both do the same martial art. I've been practicing jiu-jitsu for well over 40 years. I'm a former bodyguard, and I used to train SWAT teams and law enforcement personnel in arrest and control techniques, in overcoming somebody bigger, stronger, faster, and taking control. So I have that. I draw on that for myself. But there are a number of people I've met over the years, several who were in the martial arts schools where I was either a student or teacher, and quite a few guys from the law enforcement programs that I did that I tapped. And these guys are, borderline superheroes. They're incredibly fast, incredibly strong. And the one thing about SWAT guys, which a lot of people don't know, is that they have the lowest rate of suicide of anyone in the police department. They usually have established families. They're good family men. And when they arrive on the scene, the likelihood of someone dying has diminished significantly. They're not the kill them all, let God sort of out mentality they're portrayed in the films. And I liked the idea of someone who was that calm, cool, and controlled being the central character. And one of the funny things is some of the reviews, almost all the reviews for the book have been good. Every once in a while, someone will say Joe is not a realistic character because he's too efficient. No one who knows anything about SWAT or special forces would make that same statement, because these guys are in those groups because they are the very best of the best. You don't have a guy in Delta Force who's known for hesitating. You just don't, because he died during training. You don't have a guy in SWAT who is going to, be emotional. He's going to rationally think his way through the situation and react according to training. And so Joe is based on established procedure and personality types of people I've met in those fields, military and law enforcement.